And good morning for another episode of Morning Coffee with Marcaida. And today's thought is creativity. Are you a creative person? Can you be a creative person? I think we're all creative people, no matter what. It's just a matter of taking the chance to put yourself out there and put your ideas into play and actively doing it. What stops us? The one thing that stops you is self-doubt. Some people don't want to be creative and go out on their own to do stuff because they're afraid of what other people will say. Or is it good enough? Or do I even have the credentials to create stuff? Well, I believe that there's really nothing underneath the sun that's ever recreated. Been created to begin with, right? Everything's already been created. It's just a matter of us thinking that, it may be new that we created from ourselves, not necessarily from others. The ideas are already out there, or we have new creations of these. My point being is, don't stop yourself from taking a chance on putting your creative ideas out there. Anybody can create stuff. You can create stuff. It's already in you because you're good enough to do it. Absolutely. Now, whether it works or not, that's your own personal integrity that you have to have. You have to have your own set of standards to make it work. Let me relate this to martial arts, for example, right? In martial arts, a lot of people are so concerned about black belts, certificates, levels, and all these different things. Certain arts actually try to dumb you down and say, no, that's a white belt, and we have different levels. Now, I'm not putting anything wrong against having these things, because certain levels give you something to strive for. It gives you a gauge of where you are in your learning. But don't also use it, and this is for the teachers out there, to dumb down anybody, to make them feel inferior to what you're teaching. Martial arts should be about developing self-confidence. So when I've seen some people go, well, that guy just made it all up. He just made it all up. Who knows where it came from? Good. Making up is good. What's wrong with that? Now, can he make it work? Well, looks like he can fight with it. That's pretty cool. Good. Well, he just made it up. He never learned it from anywhere. He learned it from watching videos. Great. What is wrong with that? Just because you learn from a teacher or learn from a video, you learned and you got to do it well, right? So be creative and don't be afraid to use it. So in the martial art way I learned, there's a process we call the thought-provoking process. Now, the thought-provoking process is that I'll teach you something today. This is what you're going to learn. But I want you to come up with 4 different answers to get to that point. So I'll say, okay, how do you disarm this particular way? Well, there is this way, there is this way, there is this way, and there is that way. And there's the way I taught him. You see, so that's what I want. I go, good. Today's class, I wanted you to learn this. But because I encourage you to come up with 4 other ways to get there, it's forever yours because you created it from your mind's eye. And I encourage you. The fact that you came up with it has the confidence building that I can create something to get to the same point. My point right now is simply that this is the way I'm teaching you, but there are 4 other ways to get there. So what does that do? That builds confidence in someone to create stuff. Now, whether it works or not, you have to create ways to make sure it works. Now, my teacher will always say, I go, sir, is this correct? He goes, you're always correct. Well, how is that? Well, you're doing the hitting, so you're always correct, right? Or at least from a martial point of view. But martial arts should be about, encouraging and developing confidence. Because when you're confident about something, you're going to do it. If I threw you a keys to go fly that plane. Never flew a plane in my life. I wouldn't know what to do. Okay, go drive my car. I know how to drive. I've got confidence. I'll go do that. So if you give them confidence to try something, you first have to educate yourself with knowledge. Once you have that knowledge, you're going to go do that. So even if you create something that you make something out of, if you don't have the knowledge anyways to do that, you're not going to create because you never knew what to do to begin with. But if you've studied and learned stuff, and I'm going to try it this way, it may not be the way I was shown, you're starting to self-teach yourself and have a thought-provoking process that develops something for you. I may be talking in circles here, but the thing is, don't be afraid to be creative. The biggest problem people have with being creative is that they have self-doubt, or they're always constantly looking for other people to validate them. The only one who needs to validate what you do is you, because you should have your own integrity about what I'm doing. Can I make this work? Absolutely. Can I make this work? Boom, 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 I just made this up. Ooh, that failed. Let me fix it. So You have the confidence, you have the way to validate it, validate your creativity. Go out there and just have fun with everything that you do, because when you create stuff and it's really from yourself, you've done something beautiful because you are being you. Thought for the day, Doug Marcaida here, Morning Cup of Joe. Always good. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye-bye.